But yeah, big year for the ACC. Let's go.
To wrap it up, Meg, last thing. Who do you think is going to win the Tewaaraton?
Oh, it's got to be.
The Megs show is on full display in the dome. Let's go!
The Megan to Megan show continues. Carney to Tyrell.
Hey guys, welcome back to the Meg Show. Episode 15, last one of the season. We'll be talking Final Four and your newest 2024 Division I Women's Lacrosse National Champions. And I thought this year's Final Four was electric. All the games were fun to watch. And the crowd was really into it, which we can also talk about that and the upcoming Final Four next year, which is no longer in North Carolina, moving venues. That'll be exciting. And the first game that we will recap is the Northwestern Florida game, which was kind of crazy. If you didn't get the chance to tune in, don't stress, we'll talk about it now. But this game was very, very close from the get-go. It was very back and forth, and at that time, the game started at 3 p.m. It was so hot down there. So I was there this past weekend. It was so hot. I was thinking to myself, wow, if I was playing right now.
So was that actually that hot?
I was like, if I was playing right now, I would be crawling on the field. And, I think Florida definitely had a bit of an advantage coming in with that because they're Florida. They play in hot weather like this all the time. So it was very, very much so back and forth. And then they're not like halfway through, a little over halfway through the game, and like lightning and thunder comes out of just like nowhere. Game gets delayed, which most of the time, if there's like a weather delay, the team obviously, you want to come back out and you want to set the tone from the get-go, but sometimes weather delays don't work in teams' favors. But so it was interesting to see who was going to come out of this one because something had to change, something had to shift because the way it was going so back and forth, no one could really pull ahead at that time. They come out of their weather delay, and it was Northwestern who ended up pulling away from Florida, which ended up with their final score being 15-11. But the game felt very close the entire time. And Maggie Hall from Florida had she's had a really, really good postseason play, I'd say. She put up 5 goals. Danielle Pavanelli had 3 goals and 2 assists. Madison Waters had a goal and assist, and Ashley Gonzalez had a goal and assist. But Maggie Hall was everything for this Florida team. So unfortunate for Florida that they didn't, get a chance to move on to that championship game. But, I mean, they should be very proud, and they should be really excited for next season's team as well, I think. And then Northwestern just pulled away, had a great game, and then they advanced to that national championship.
Yeah, that is how that works.
That's what they did, yeah.
Yeah, no, Florida came out of the gates firing right away, quick, fast offense, and I think that's sort of their MO. And like you mentioned, playing in the heat, they obviously have that advantage. Outdoors in the warm weather every single day when they're practicing and playing. But yeah, that was an exciting game to watch. I was proud of Florida for hanging in there and keeping it a close game. Weather delay is never that much fun, but it happens and you got to take advantage of it. But yeah, last time in Cary, thank God. I don't really see why it's there and why it needs to be there. I think we'd have a lot more success and growth for the game if it was at the same site as a men's or nearby, maybe in the same city or neighboring cities. I think that would just help a lot with our attendance. But love that the games are on ESPN. Obviously they're staggered. I think 3:00. I would suggest that we start the first game later, but with how long our games take, that second game wouldn't be starting until really late. So obviously that plays a factor with fans and attending. Getting off work on that Friday at 3 can be a little bit tricky for some people, but I do think the location of it, now that it's changing, will be hopefully better. I unfortunately was not able to go. I was going to go if Syracuse won the first game. However, they did not. So I saved a lot of money and did not need to go to Cary, North Carolina. But I do wish I could have been there Friday for the game. But unfortunately, we did not come out with a win. With that being said, Syracuse falls to BC once again. 10-7. BC came out with a win. The third quarter kind of hurt us for Syracuse. We put up 0 goals in the third quarter, which is not going to work in a semifinal game, especially against such a dominant team. We got to be able to keep up with them. So that definitely did not help us throughout the game and our momentum coming out of the halftime. That's a reset. You've just had, I don't even know how long halftime is, 10, 15 minutes, 12 minutes. I don't even know. But that's your time to go back, regroup with your team, sort of reevaluate the game plan, what's working, what's not working, to then come out with a big third quarter. Going into halftime, we were only down 2, which isn't terrible against BC and such a dominant team, a team that's always beat us. But yeah, putting up 0 in the third definitely did not help us. We had a big game from Rachel Clark. She had 5, Emma Pinto had 2, McKenna Davis had 1, Cassie Weeks had 1, and Kayla Martello had 1. Kayla Martello is such an amazing player and so underrated. And I kind of like it. She just sort of goes with the flow, plays her own game, doesn't care about the media or anything, and just dominates constantly and consistently. But yeah, game high, 5 goals for Rachel Clark and 1 assist. So she was leading the BC offense. And then McKenna Davis dished out 4 assists herself and scored once. Nat Smith led the Orange in points with 3, 2 goals and 1 assist. Emma Ward contributed 2 goals, and Liv Adamson produced 1 goal and 1 assist to round out the Orange. Multiple points, but we just need a little bit more from those leaders. Unfortunately, it didn't happen, but we need more from them, especially in such a do or die scenario. And then BC kept Emma Tyrell quiet in the game. So unfortunate for them. Gracie Britton also, just each game she seems to improve, which is awesome. Such a young player out there that is playing so confidently. And then Kate Mash had 14 draw controls in the game. But yeah, she had a great season. They all did. We're going to miss them all so much. But unfortunately, Syracuse just can't get by the BC hump. I don't know what it is. They're just a very well-coached team, BC, and they really seem to buy in and believe. But Syracuse will get them eventually.
Yeah, that game was tough. Obviously, as a Cuse alum, then my sister being on the team, seeing your season come to an end, or your college career come to an end is sad. Meg and I are still very close with a bunch of those girls on the team. And obviously not the way you want to go out. Emma was a little quiet that game, but sometimes that's just how things happen. And like Meg said, this BC's coaching staff is legit. We got Acacia Walker, Jen Kent, who helps out with the defensive side of things, then Sam Apuzzo, who is a BC legend and is always in the top 4 of the AU Pro League. And if you watch the games quarter in, quarter out, the in-game adjustments that they make it incredibly difficult.
That's what separates them.
To be the way that they can adjust their game plan kind of off of a timeout, coming out of half, out of a quarter. It really does impact, and the goal of it obviously is to mess up the other team's flow or whatever. and they do accomplish that.
Yeah.
So hats off to them. They coached a great game. They played a great game.
Not only are they, like, really good at in-game adjustments, like, the coaches are so good at getting him the adjustments, but the players then go out, trust it, believe in them, and then execute it. And, like,
They
they're
execute
not
very well,
faked
yeah.
ever if they're down. Like, they're never rattled. They just always look so confident and look like they have so much belief and trust in their teammates and their coaches and the game plan. Which obviously, like, I never really noticed that when we were playing them because, you know, we're so locked into our own game. But now watching this season on TV, from the outside perspective, you really notice it, and it's just so crazy. But that's what makes them so dominant. And you saw it in the Northwestern game where they were down how much, like 5-1,
6-0?
6-0, yeah. And yeah,
Maverick,
and
special
they
guest,
just
guys. Special guest this week. This is Maverick.
but yeah, sorry.
He's so cute. But yeah, no, great game by BC. To my Cuse ladies, my heart hurts for you guys, but there are great things post-college, and for those returning, you have the chance to get back there. So hopefully that puts in a little bit of an extra.
I don't even, like, have the energy to move him right now.
No, I know. But yeah, exciting chances for a new season next year. And overall, that semifinal game, that Final Four, those games were very fun to watch, very action-packed, all these talented players. So that leads us to your national championship game, where we saw a rematch from 2023 season between Northwestern and BC. Last year, Northwestern wiped the floor with BC, basically, how that game went.
Dude,
But
I would have been so
okay.
annoyed. I don't know if I mentioned this in an earlier podcast, but when BC beat us last year and then they just went and got destroyed by Northwestern, I was so annoyed. Obviously, we lost, and, you know, when you lose, you're like, what the heck? Like, we could have beat Northwestern, we could have done better than that, because you're just, like, annoyed. But, like, if you're gonna beat us, go put up a better fight. So I'm glad this year that they were able to stand tall in their shoes.
Yeah, this year's game looked incredibly different, like night and day from what it was the year before. Even though it didn't start off looking like that. So as we mentioned prior to, Northwestern had a huge first quarter. They put up 6 goals in that first quarter, and BC, I'm pretty sure, only ended up with 1 at the end of the first. So it was 6-1 going into the second. And this is where we kind of started to see things change a little bit going into half. BC proceeded to have a 6-goal or a 5-goal second quarter. Going into the half, it was 8-6 Northwestern. So that's still a very tight game. Can go anyway. Obviously, you got 30 more minutes of lacrosse. And then Kayla Martello again decided to just have a day. That girl, I can't say enough good things about. She's always moving. Her shooting percentage has to be insane. And she really knows, she's very, very good at working the inside of an 8. Like, she's always cutting. She's always slipping, looking for the ball. And her teammates are looking for her, which is awesome. She had a huge day. BC kind of storms back. What?
She had 5 goals, 0 assists, which, whatever. You had 5 goals. 5 for 7. 5 of those shots on goal. So, I mean, essentially, she almost went 5 for 5. 2 of them, I guess, were off cage. But when she's shooting on cage, they seem to be going in.
They seem to go in. BC storms back in the third. And I'm pretty sure in the third quarter, they ended up taking the lead, I want to say. Or they cut it down to a 1-point deficit. So 10-9. And then the fourth quarter was all out. Boston College takes the lead. They went up 12-11. And kind of just kept the lead from there. When it was 13-11, Kayla Martello scored her 5th goal of the day with about 6 minutes left to play. Northwestern put up a point, and kind of towards that end of the game, there's 55 seconds left. BC's up 14-13. Northwestern had the ball. They did have a chance to put the ball. I can't. Northwestern had a chance to. Matt, you got something to say, man? No?
To the people that just listen to this and not watch
They're
it,
gonna
I
be so
think
confused.
it's
Maverick is a
confused.
dog, guys. Don't worry.
Maverick is my 10-month-old puppy that is trying to talk right now. It's just curious.
He is so curious.
I'm honestly not even gonna cut it out because who cares? It's the last episode.
You're right. But back to it.
Yeah.
Northwestern has the ball. Less than a minute left in the game. And it comes down to it. It's an Erin Kuykendall stick, which if I am Northwestern, I'm happy with that. I want that ball in her stick.
Mm-hmm.
They move the ball around, and then she gets an 8-meter. They line up. It's a pass off the 8-meter to Dylan Monte, who's in the middle of the 8. And Shea Dolce just makes like a crazy save. So she's mid-jump, mid-air. She's mid-air.
Yeah. Goes for the fake high.
Mm-hmm.
Falls
Is up. And then Dylan Monte goes to shoot it low, and Shea Dolce just kicks her leg out and hits it, and it's a save, and it was crazy. They get the ball back. Erin has the ball again. They look for an open pass in the middle of the 8. Pass goes a little bit errant, and that's kind of how the game falls.
Dude, if that pass was on target, that girl so could have scored.
That could have been.
Like
but
that's gotta be such a tough ending. I feel bad for them, but like, it's just crazy how things work out like that.
I know. And then you also have to, like, this Northwestern team had so many veterans, so many people who were on the team playing in that national championship last year as well. So it's especially hard for them. My heart hurt for them. But I was pumped for BC to go to 7 straight Final Fours, have one title behind it. Getting that second one, so awesome for them. It's not an easy job. And it was very well deserved. Coming back from being down 6-0 in the national championship, to win, I mean, that's like storybook stuff right there.
Yeah, that was such a great game for them. It's just so painful to watch.
Yeah, I mean, and then also for Northwestern, like Izzy Skane, Erin Kuykendall, all these people whose careers, I think La Liberty's done too, but all these people who have had such historic careers, ending their careers in the national championship, it hurts. It always does hurt. No matter when your season ends, it hurts. And then obviously on like the biggest stage for women's lacrosse, it's not easy, but they had hell of a game. They had crazy careers, and both of them got drafted to AU Pro. So things might not be done for them yet. We'll just have to wait and see. But congratulations to Boston College bringing that second national championship back to
Chestnut Hill.
Chestnut Hill. Yes, that's what I was looking for. That's awesome. Kudos to you guys. Pumped for you and excited to see. I'm already thinking about next season, what that's going to look like. So excited for them to, what their future is going to look like. I'm sure Acacia will be putting together another excellent team.
Seriously.
Yeah. And Northwestern's not going anywhere either. They are coached very, very well also by Kelly Monte-Hiller. But yeah, big year for the ACC. Let's go.
To wrap it up, Meg, last thing. Who do you think is going to win the Tewaaraton?
Oh, it's got to be Izzy or Madison. I mean, I think it'll end up being Izzy. But in the back of my head, I wouldn't be surprised if it was Madison also. But one of those two. I mean, Izzy broke the NCAA college scoring record this year, made it to a national championship, has a Big Ten championship. Yeah, and she's just another one of those like game changers for women's lacrosse. So I think she's going to win. What about you?
I agree. I think she'll win.
Cool. Well, that
cool. All right.
That's really sick. So that happens next week at some point. So make sure you stay tuned to see who ends up with that Tewaaraton trophy. Even though I like this group, I do think it'll be Izzy. Who do you think will be on the men's side?
I don't know. Notre Dame just destroyed Maryland. That was crazy.
Oh my god, that game was also
It was like boring.
that one wasn't that fun to watch.
Yeah,
I
no.
mean, we saw some cool stuff. Chris Kavanaugh just had an insane game. Had a really sick shot that was beautiful to watch.
Yeah, that's so cool. It must be so cool to like
yeah.
play with your brothers.
Yeah, it is.
Oh yeah. Right.
With my brother.
Yeah.
I think it'll be Pat Kavanaugh, but Liam Entenmann, hopefully I'm saying that right. He is a ridiculously good goalie. And both of them are going to the PLL. The PLL starts actually this weekend. So never fear. College lacrosse may be over, but professional is right around the corner. So we'll have something to watch.
That just lines up.
It's got to be on purpose.
Oh yeah. But it's so nice because we can keep watching lacrosse.
Yeah.
Well, that's season 1.
Yeah, that's season 1, guys.
Tune into PLL, AU, Athletes Unlimited. Yeah.
Yeah, and don't forget to follow along on our Instagram and TikTok. We'll post stuff on there from time to time. And stay tuned for camp dates. And don't forget to reach out if you'd like to host us at a city near you. We'd love to come down.
Yeah, let us know if you
hang out, play some lax. It'd be very educational for all of us. But thank you to all of our loyal listeners and followers for tuning in for season 1 of the Meg Show. It has been so fun to go on this season with you guys. And don't you worry.
I've asked for a better first season of lacrosse.
No, really, it went great. And we will be back for season 2. Can't wait for February of 2025. Already looking forward to it. But thank you guys. And I hope you enjoyed listening to season 1 of The Meg Show. And we'll see you soon.
Bye, guys.